Hey Bible lovers, I wanted to intro this video just to let you know how privileged we are as Bible enthusiasts to have such amazing craftsmen to work with. When I first started reviewing Bibles, number one, it was considered virtually impossible for a reviewer to even get a review copy of any kind of a rebind. And second of all, there were very few options. I think of Ben Vinoy, who was an early pioneer. I also think of Diego Calico, who was an early pioneer, Jeff Rice, who was an early pioneer. But outside of 4 or 5 really good craftsmen, there wasn't a whole lot out there. And in the last couple of years, especially since the COVID year when people really started experimenting with things, we have seen this explosion of Bible rebinders. I personally have worked with about 30 craftsmen and craftswomen. I own almost 40 rebinds just from that experience. It's an incredible privilege to, number one, be able to work with these craftsmen and craftswomen and get Bibles that I love. And number two, it's an incredible privilege to be able to show you and showcase their work so that you can make a decision. I felt this video was important because there are a lot of rebinders out there. Which ones are tested and which ones really have the best work? There's a lot of new guys that are coming up. They're still figuring out and dialing in their craft. And I'm always willing to work with new rebinders. But when it comes down to you making a purchase, I want you, when you're spending hundreds of dollars for a custom Bible, I want you to be able to make a decision to where you're going to be happy with the end result. And these 10 rebinders are those that I know. I've seen their work multiple times. I've seen their consistency. I've seen their improvement. And these are the 10 that I know are going to absolutely give you a great result. Now, I am going to make a separate video on the up and coming rebinders, some new guys that are still dialing it in, but they are definitely loaded with potential, and before long they're going to be cranking out some amazing work. So anyhow, check out the video. Hey Bible lovers, I'm Tim Nichols and I'm here to bring you your Nichols worth, and today we're going to talk about my top 10 rebinders. This video has been a long time in the making, and I want to offer a couple of disclaimers here. When I say top 10, it's very difficult to separate this top 10. You could almost say every single one of these rebinders have a reason where they could be the top rebinder. So this is going to be a lot of data that I've put in. I'm going to give you some criteria, but it's also going to be a whole lot of my personal preferences. So know that going in. So if your favorite rebinder isn't the top one, then I'm going to be doing a people's choice poll, and we'll see what you choose, and then I'll make a video about the People's Choice top 10 rebinders. But anyhow, here's the criteria that I use. Number one, the best spine work. And I'm going to go ahead and list each rebinder that I feel like does the best work in these areas. The best spine work is Flourish Bible and Reformed and Rebound. They both just do beautiful spines. I'll show that off a little bit as I show the Bibles. And then it's the stitched edge work, or if they don't do stitch work, the tool work. And the top in the game in that is SDG Rebinds. His stitch work is second to none. You can't even find his singe lines until you really, really look for them. Another one is tool work overall on the Bible, on the spine, on the cover, and things like that. And the number one in tool work, nobody outdoes Rex Rebinds in the area of tool work. His tool work is second to none. In innovation, that's somebody who presses boundaries and does something beyond the norm. John with ICA is miles ahead of everyone else when it comes to innovation. His designs are just next level. When it comes to corner work, Lion and Lamb is the best, but I'm telling you, Redbird and Reformed and Rebound are nipping at his heels. And then when it comes to gilt lines, I would also say that Lion and Lamb is the best there, but Redbird and Reformed and Rebound are also nipping at his heels on that as well. Now we're moving on to lay flat. Resurrection Rebinds has the absolute best lay flat experience. I'll demonstrate that. Efficiency. This is when the date was set for the rebind to be completed to when I got it, and PTL and Logos are top notch there. They nailed it on the target dates. That was just an excellent experience. And then overall experience, where relationship with the rebinder and showing you pictures along the way, there is no one better than Flourish and Resurrection Rebind in these two. Presentation, packaging, everything. It was just a wonderful experience with them. Art gilding, I find that John with ICA is the absolute best with the art gilding. Zero bleed on the page. It's just excellent, consistent in its darkness. Measurements, Reformed and Rebound has the best measurements. His measurements are just so on point. He hits that sweet spot that I like. And then price point, I think bang for the buck is ICA. He gives you the most options for the best price. Preference and style, what are my preferences? And when it comes to a preferred style, ICA really hits that mark for me. So now we're going to go through overall top 10 And we're going to start with number 10. And again, I want to emphasize to you, every single one of these have a case to be number 1. Coming in at number 10 is SDG. He is top notch on his stitch work. You can't even see where he back stitches it. It's just overall absolutely outstanding work. I could not recommend anyone any more than SDG. Now, unfortunately, I was not really able to test his lay flat because this is such a small, thin Bible that it doesn't have enough weight to lay flat. So that's something I wasn't able to test. Coming in at number 9 is Resurrection Rebinds, and his stitch work is great. This is so difficult to rank these just because these are the 10 that are my absolute favorite. But when I talk about lay flat, his lay flat experience is just phenomenal. So here we are in Leviticus, in Genesis. Look at that. Just absolutely gorgeous lay flat experience. And this is untrained. I haven't pressed on this. If you give this just a little bit of work with that leather tab, it's just amazing. So this is incredible. Coming in at number 8 is Logos. Logos does some absolutely amazing work. This is my second rebind from him, and he partnered with D.L. Beeman. So I don't have an example on hand of his art gilding. I have seen it because I had one before that I gave to one of our ministers at church, and he does a good job there. But just beautiful work, absolutely outstanding corners. Just the separation between these craftsmen and craftswomen are absolutely virtually inseparable. So it really comes down to preference. Coming in at number 7, we have Rex Rebinds. Rex Rebinds tool work is absolutely second to no one. That embossed Jerusalem cross with the tool work, I just don't see anyone topping that. The tool work on his spine, just absolutely gorgeous, beautiful work, absolutely excellent. One knock against Rex Rebinds, and he and I have joked about this, is that he doesn't offer gilt lines. So for that alone, I bumped him down a few spots. Ha ha, ET. But I did want to give you an example of his art gilding because it is actually really good too. I'd probably put him at number 2, right below John when it comes to art gilding. Excellent stuff. All right, coming in at number 6, that is going to be Jeff Rice with PTL. This guy is the OG. The reason every one of these guys is good is in part inspired by his work. But he is clean, he is elegant, really nice. Excellent corners, good gilt lines. This, again, is one of those Bibles that's not really prone to lay flat because it's a personal size, very thin. There's not enough weight to it. So I can't demonstrate that with this, but really nice stitch work. He's another one that it was very difficult to find his singe lines. They are right there if you see those little shiny dots there. But very difficult to find his back stitching. Just really good stuff. Coming in at number 5, and there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be upset with me about this, but that is Lion and Lamb. Why is he not number 1? Well, the main reason is because it's just simply a style I don't prefer. So this is a personal choice. This has nothing to do with his craftsmanship. This has nothing to do with his skill level. I just don't really prefer the Chant Allen style. It's beautiful, it's nice, but when you're talking style, I want those raised hubs, I want those stitched edges, but when it comes to overall experience, this is beautiful. I'm going to say Nick has the best corners. He's probably tied for the best gilt lines with a couple other guys, Redbird and Reformed Rebound namely. But just beautiful work here. For me, he's a little lower on my personal poll just because of a style thing, and that's all it is. This is just a personal preference. Also his price point. He is more expensive than all these guys I've featured so far. So that's probably part of it as well. Moving into number 4, my top 4 is probably going to surprise some of you all. But this is Redbird Rebinds at number 4. And his second rebind, compared to the first one for me in the amount of improvement, is simply incredible. That spine work with the double tooled hubs, see, this is me right here. This is my style. This is what I love. Just absolutely gorgeous. That stitch work is a feature that he added since the last one he did for me. Perfect. His measurements on point all the way around. That full yap touches, which measurements was also another criteria. But then the corners, let's take a look at Nick's corners versus his corners. I mean, there's not a whole lot of separation there, y'all. That's good. The gilt lines, not a whole lot of separation there. So this guy has come up fast. Number 3, this is going to surprise a lot of you all. That is Flourish. And the reason I love Flourish Bibles is because that spine work is just so beautiful, and her logo. That was another factor in my criteria, was logo, and she has my absolute favorite logo, almost tied with logos, no pun intended. Just love their logos. But the stitch work, the yap work, the tool work, and she does a paste down liner, which is just so innovative and different. She offers custom end sheets. Look at those double tool lines on the inside here. I've never seen anyone do that. This is just stellar work. Coming in at number 2, this is going to surprise you all, but my boy John at ICA comes in at number 2. Now, John is my favorite rebinder, so if I didn't use any of the point system criteria, I would have put him at number 1. But when it comes to overall score, he did not get the number 1 result. But at number 2, that spine work, check it out. Double tool lines, this is me, y'all. This is what I love. And that stitch work, just beautiful. And check out the innovation. He is the most absolute 100% innovative Bible rebinder in the business. No one out innovates John. Just excellent. And when you look at his yap work, some people say his measurements are a tad inconsistent, and you can see that Horween is a bit difficult. There's actually a video I'll put on the end screen about the difficulty of Horween, because that's a little bit over. So some people knock him on that. I don't, because I give within 1/8 of an inch, but this is absolutely gorgeous work. His corners, 100% excellent. His gilt lines, 100% excellent, just beautiful. And I forgot to show off Flourish with the gilt line and the corners. Really nice work there. Totally different style. For number 1, are y'all ready? Some of y'all are in for a shock. And that is Jacob Bacchus at Reformed and Rebound. Now, the thing is, with a point system, it's kind of like NASCAR. You put in all the criteria, and you don't have to finish first in every category. You just have to finish high in every category. So Jacob only won the category of measurements, but he finished very high in every other category because his tool work is on point. His stamp work is on point. His spine work, look at that, is beautiful. His stitching, this is one thing, if Jacob can improve his stitching, because he uses a sewing machine, and sometimes the back stitching on a sewing machine can be a little clumsy. If he's able to improve his stitching the way I believe he's going to be able to, he's going to become untouchable when it comes to his work. His measurements, just absolutely perfect. That semi-yap is just gorgeous. And he works with multiple different types of leathers. He does beautiful Allen clones that I believe are equal in quality to Lion and Lamb. His corners, check it out. Those are some stunning, absolutely beautiful corners. Gilt line, love the way it hugs that lip on that leather. Edge line tab, nice and straight. His ability for his Bibles to lay flat. This is a personal size that is very thick. When it comes to a personal size Bible that's this thick, I'm going to count that as laying flat. That is pretty impressive. So, I also want to do a couple of honorable mentions. First of all, I want to mention Annecy Bookbinding. She does not rebind a lot of Bibles, although she does rebind some, but she makes these custom. From the stamp work to everything overboard, and she adds these beautiful liners, and then she sews the blocks together herself. She does some rebinds, but she does more of a book binding thing where she makes her own book, and this is incredible. Another honorable mention is Simple and Timeless Rebinds. The only reason I didn't put him in the top 10 is because he does hardbacks, and it's so hard to compare to some of these others with the corner work because there is no corner work. But when it comes to innovation, he is number 2 to ICA. That is just simply incredible. This mobile back study, his spine work, just crazy innovative, amazing. And then last honorable mention is Adrian with AE Bibles. Now, I would say his work is probably worth being in the top 10, but some people say it looks a little too stock, and I would say that that's his style. He wants to look stock, but another thing is his lead time is really, really long, sometimes in excess of a year. His prices are also up there, kind of close to Lion and Lamb. So those are a couple of reasons that I put him in the honorable mention category. So, who are your top rebinders? Who are your favorite? Let me know in the comments, and also make sure and wait for that poll. God bless you. Keep calm. Jesus on. This is your Nicholsworth.